about launching and docking our boats. And the reason we're learning about this today is we are training to go to the ISS, the International Sailing Station. And in order to do this, we have to learn a number of steps. So our formal objective for today is to learn how to safely launch and dock our sailboats in any wind conditions and with wind coming from any direction. And there are a number of reasons why this is important, and the main one is that we really can't go sailing if we don't know these skills, and we also need to be able to get away from shore or from the harbor doing so safely, because there are a lot of obstacles that can be in the way. So the first skill we're going to be learning about is launching. So we'll go through this step by step, and I'll be asking some questions about why the steps might be important. So the first thing we need to do when we're launching our boat is we need the boat to be into irons. Can anyone think of why we would want our sailboat in irons? Jamie?
So the sailboat doesn't sail away.
Exactly. When our boat is in irons, we have the most control, and we make sure that we can do everything we need to do before leaving without our boat taking off away from us. The second one is that the helm is going to enter the boat, and they're going to ensure that the centerboard is down and the sails go up so that everything is ready to go sailing. And when the helm enters the boat, the crew should be making sure that the boat remains flat and stable, because when the helm enters, the boat might be off balance. The third one is the crew is going to untie the painter and turn the boat in the direction that is desired for travel. And after that, the crew can enter the boat. And then the last step is that the helm is going to look around for obstacles and then head into the direction of desired travel. What are some possible obstacles that could be in the way of a safe docking?
Boats or people?
Yeah, boats or people. So you want to make sure that there's nothing you're going to hit, because you can end up sailing away pretty quickly. Okay, everyone got those steps?
Got it.
Got it. Awesome. Okay, so now let's switch to docking. So you've been out sailing all day on the water and you're coming back in, and it can be a little bit stressful at first thinking about how you can dock your boat. But when you follow these steps, you'll always do so in a safe manner, and you'll always be able to feel confident when you're out on the water. So the first step is the helm and the crew are going to communicate to determine the location of the docking. You're going to look around and see if there are any hazards that could possibly be in the area. The next one is that the helm is going to head towards the target. So whether the target is a shoreline or if it's a dock, they're going to identify where they want to park. So for example, if there are two boats really close together, and there's only a really small space where they could possibly dock, it's maybe not the best idea, and they should try to identify somewhere else where they won't have so many problems, especially if it's a windy day. Or if it's a shore, and you can see that some kids that are going on the water, if they're swimming, you should probably not try to dock in that area. Makes sense. So the third one is that you're going to want to depower the boat. Can you guys think of any ways you would try to slow down your boat? Yes?
Everyone goes to the back of the boat.
Yeah, so the helm and the crew sit back in the boat so that it acts like a brake and it slows the boat down. Anything else? Yeah?
You can put your sails down.
Yeah, you can lower down your sails. So if it's a really windy day and you're heading into shore or the dock really fast, you can try to lower down your mainsail, and that can depower your boat. Or you can also just try to luff your sails. That's another thing you can do. Okay, so another way of docking is you can use the J curve, which is when you approach parallel to the dock, but about 4 or 5 meters away, and then you swoop in towards the dock area, pointing up into the wind afterwards, which slows down your boat altogether. And I'll actually demonstrate this so you can see what it looks like, and that can be pretty effective. And then once you're heading into the docking area, there are a couple things you want to make sure of. One is that you want to make sure that it's not so shallow that your centerboard is going to hit the bottom. If it is shallow and your centerboard is going to hit the bottom, you want to bring your centerboard up. And after that, ensuring that your centerboard and possibly even your rudder is up, then you're at the dock, and now you have to tie your boat to the dock. So there are two knots you can use. You can either use a bowline knot, or you can tie your boat to the dock, usually using a bowline. Good?
Good.
Okay, do you guys want to see what this looks like?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get our sailboat model out, and let's look at what a launching would look like. Okay? So we have our dock, we have our sailboat here, it's tied to the dock with a painter, and it's attached to the dock with a bullet. And we have the wind, so this marker is going to be because if we go back to step number 1, we need to make sure the boat is in irons. And because the wind is coming from the top of the board in this case, so imagine the wind coming like this, the boat is already in irons, so that's probably done first. So then, yes, again, so the helm enters the boat, and then
You push the centerboard down, and then you put the sails up.
yes, perfect. And at this point, the sailboat should still be tied to the dock. Okay, so what are the next steps?
You untie the painter and the crew gets in the boat.
Yes, exactly. So the crew member can untie the painter knot, untie the painter and the knot, and then take that off of the ring, and then they can enter the boat. But they should also already make sure that they are still holding on to the boat, because they don't want the boat to sail away without them. Good? Good. Okay. Next steps.
The skipper pushes the tiller away from them and
Yes.
turns from the dock.
Yes. So the skipper is going to push the tiller towards the dock to get away, and then they're going to pull in their sails, so they're going to sheet in, and that's going to allow them to catch a little bit of wind so that they can sail off in this direction. So they're going to sail on a close-hauled course. So sail off just like this. Another thing they can do is if the crew member is able to bring up the boat far enough, they can sail on a close-hauled course going from this direction. So these are really the only two good options. Is that good?
Good.
Okay. Now that we got that figured out, let's look at what a docking looks like. So, the sailboat, you've been out the whole day.
What's up?
You still, oh, sorry, we're in a lesson right now. We'll be done in a few minutes if you want to come back. Thanks. Okay, sorry, Mom. So let's go back to docking the boat. So, we pull in our sailboat. So the helm is going to look around and sorry. So we're going to see where we can dock the boat. So the helm is going to approach the dock, and then I'm going to determine which way the wind is coming from. So in this case, the wind is still coming from the top of from behind the boat. So they're on a run, so their sail is all the way out. So they're coming pretty fast. They're coming in. So they're going to try to depower a little bit. They might pull in their sail a bit. And what they're going to do is they're going to do a J-curve landing. So they come in like this, with quite a bit of distance away. They're going to pull up and pull the boat into irons so that they can approach the dock, and then their sails will be left up. And then the crew can try to bring the boat closer to the dock. And the reason that this is really effective is because they can do so very slowly, and when they pull up into irons, they won't be approaching the dock so fast that they're going to crash into it. Does that make sense? Because if you imagine if they were on a run, and then they try to approach the dock like this, it'd be really easy for them to hit the dock because they'd be going really fast. So what they do is they come down and then run in the irons. Good?
Good.
Okay. Great. So let's imagine this a little differently. Okay? So coming out on a day sailing, and the wind is coming from this direction. So in order to go back to shore, they have to sail upwind. They're running close haul to close haul, close haul. And what they can do is they can get pretty close to the dock by sailing on this close haul course. And because the wind is coming from here, what they can do is they can just approach the dock and then stop the boat by pulling directly into irons. And then they can luff up and then they'll approach the shore. Good? Okay. Now let's imagine the wind is coming from over here. So when the sailboat comes in, they're going to be on a beam reach course, which is very fast. So this isn't really the best situation because you don't want to be approaching the dock so fast. So what they can do is they can let their sail out because then they won't be catching as much of the wind. And then they can also bring down the sail halfway if necessary, if they're going too fast, for when they approach the dock. And then a couple things to keep in consideration. If there are people on the dock, you can call to them for help if you're approaching the dock really fast, because then they can make sure your boat doesn't hit. And then also you need to make sure that there are no hazards in the area when you're trying to approach. Okay? Good? Does anyone have any questions about this? About the docking? Good. Okay.
What if there's no wind?
If there's no wind, the good thing is that you're not going to have the issue of approaching too fast, but then you're going to be going pretty slowly, so you can either try to use your rudder to kind of create a paddle, or you can kind of paddle in, or you can also pump the sail in order to create some wind. So those are some of your options. Good question. Okay, let's of doing launching docking successfully? Natalie?
Always communicate.
Always communicate, yeah. Which means for the crew and helm.
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork's really important as well. In order to make sure you can do so effectively.
Avoiding hazards, like looking out for them.
Yeah, avoiding hazards and also identifying the wind because that'll really determine how you're going to launch the dock. It has to be pretty strategic sometimes.
Communication.
Communication? Yeah. You heard that one. But that's good. It can be said twice because it's so important. Okay. Anyways, okay, everyone. So now that we have learned the steps of launching and docking, we are all prepared to go down the water. So everyone go put on your PFDs, go get ready for sailing, and we're going to head out to the docks and see what this looks like. Okay? Woohoo!
Yeah!